Everything happens at the perfect moment. Trust in the wisdom of the universe. Life has a way of teaching us lessons, not by rushing, not by forcing, and not by following the timeline that our restless minds often demand, but rather by unfolding with precision and harmony according to a greater rhythm. Many of us have experienced moments where we felt impatient, where we questioned why certain doors were not opening, why certain relationships ended too soon, why an opportunity slipped through our fingers, or why pain seemed to come without explanation. Yet, when we look back with the clarity of hindsight, we often realize that everything that happened, whether joyful or painful, carried with it a hidden perfection, a moment that could not have arrived earlier nor later than it did. This realization forms the foundation of one of the most profound truths in the spiritual journey. Everything happens at the perfect moment. To trust in the wisdom of the universe is to accept that there is a deeper intelligence guiding our path, one that surpasses the limits of our rational planning. While the human mind often operates through fear, control, and the illusion of certainty, the universe works through alignment, synchronicity, and divine timing. The spiritual traditions of many cultures, from Eastern philosophies such as Buddhism and Taoism to Western mystical teachings, echo this timeless wisdom that patience, surrender, and trust in the unfolding of life are not signs of passivity, but signs of deep awareness and alignment with the flow of existence. In this work, we will embark on a journey to explore this wisdom in depth. Through 5 expansive topics, we will reflect on the meaning of divine timing, the lessons hidden within delays and setbacks, the art of surrender, the importance of preparation before destiny's arrival, and the transformative power of hindsight. Each section will offer reflections, metaphors, and guiding thoughts to help you embrace the truth that every experience, no matter how confusing in the moment, fits into a perfect tapestry woven by forces greater than our individual will. We begin now with the first theme, understanding the nature of divine timing and why the universe never makes mistakes in the rhythm with which it reveals the chapters of our lives. The nature of divine timing and the universe's rhythm. There is an unspoken rhythm that governs the unfolding of all things in life, a rhythm that we cannot control, but that we are invited to trust. This rhythm is not based on human impatience, on arbitrary clocks, or on the deadlines we impose on ourselves. It is the rhythm of the universe, the divine timing through which everything is revealed at the perfect moment. To understand this truth is to step out of the illusions of urgency and into the serenity of faith. Life is not random. It moves with precision, as sure as the sun rises each day and the tides flow according to the pull of the moon. The same order that governs galaxies also governs the intimate details of our existence. When we speak of divine timing, we speak of a wisdom far beyond our limited perspective. The human mind craves certainty, predictability, and control. We want to know when love will arrive, when our careers will succeed, when healing will manifest, when clarity will dawn. And when these things seem delayed, when they do not fit into our schedules, we grow restless, frustrated, and even resentful. But life does not operate according to the ego's timetable. It unfolds in accordance with a higher order, one that ensures that things happen not when we demand them, but when we are truly ready for them. Divine timing is not about delay for the sake of delay. It is purposeful. It is about alignment. Imagine 2 rivers converging. One is your personal readiness, the other is the unfolding of external circumstances. When the 2 rivers meet at the right moment, flow becomes effortless. But if one river rushes ahead before the other is ready, harmony is lost. In the same way, our lives unfold perfectly when inner readiness and outer opportunity meet in alignment. Divine timing is the meeting point between who we are becoming and what life is preparing to give us. Often, impatience blinds us to this truth. We look at the closed doors in our lives and think we are being punished. We watch opportunities slip away and assume we are being forgotten. But the universe is never late and never careless. Just as the seasons of nature unfold in their time, so too does every season of your life. The seed does not bloom in winter, no matter how much the farmer begs, but in spring it rises effortlessly because the conditions are right. Divine timing is the spiritual spring of your life, when everything aligns without force. One of the greatest lessons of divine timing is trust. To trust is to surrender the illusion that we know what is best for us and when it should happen. Trust does not mean passivity, it means alignment with the flow of life. It is an active choice to believe that what is meant for us cannot be stolen, and what is not meant for us will not stay. This trust brings peace in seasons of waiting. Instead of wasting energy fighting the rhythm of life, we begin to walk with it, like a dancer moving gracefully with music. The universe is precise. It wastes nothing. Every delay, every detour, every pause is part of the choreography. What looks like stagnation is often hidden preparation. Consider the story of the archer. Before the arrow is released into flight, it must first be pulled back. The tension of being drawn backward feels like regression, but it is necessary for momentum. In the same way, when life pulls us back through challenges, losses, or delays, it is not punishment, but preparation for the release that will propel us forward. The arrow cannot fly without first being drawn. In moments when we resist divine timing, life feels heavy. We experience anxiety because we are trying to force what is not yet ripe. We demand fruit from a tree that is still blossoming. But the moment we accept that timing is sacred, peace returns. We realize that forcing events only leads to bitterness, while trusting their natural unfolding brings sweetness. This is not an abstract idea, but a lived truth that becomes clearer the more we reflect on our past. How many times have you looked back on your life and realized that something you thought came too late actually came at exactly the right moment? The job, the relationship, the opportunity. If it had come earlier, you would not have been ready. If it had come later, it might have passed you by. It came precisely when it needed to. That is divine timing. Divine timing also humbles us. It reminds us that we are not the center of the universe, but participants in a larger story. Our lives are interwoven with countless others, and timing must align for all. Sometimes what we perceive as a delay in our lives is actually the universe aligning the lives of others who will play key roles in our story. The person you are meant to meet is being prepared. The opportunity you are meant to receive is being built. The place you are meant to go is being made ready. When you are waiting, you are not waiting alone. The whole universe is moving pieces into place. The nature of divine timing is also deeply connected to the lessons we need to learn. Sometimes what delays our desires is not external but internal. The universe waits until we have grown into the version of ourselves who can carry the blessing with responsibility. Without patience, love becomes obsession. Without wisdom, wealth becomes destruction. Without humility, power becomes corruption. Timing ensures that blessings do not become burdens. The delay is not life withholding good from us. It is life protecting us from harm and shaping us into vessels capable of holding good without being destroyed by it. Another aspect of divine timing is synchronicity. When we are aligned, we begin to notice patterns, signs, and coincidences that are not coincidences at all. These are the whispers of the universe, showing us that we are moving in rhythm with the greater flow. A conversation with a stranger reveals an answer we needed. A book falls into our hands at the right moment. An obstacle suddenly clears. These synchronicities are the evidence that divine timing is at work, aligning us with people, places, and opportunities we could not have orchestrated ourselves. Living in awareness of divine timing changes how we face challenges. Instead of despairing when doors close, we learn to trust that it is not rejection, but redirection. Instead of clinging to what slips away, we learn to release, knowing that what is meant for us will never miss us. Instead of fighting every delay, we begin to see delays as sacred pauses filled with purpose. This awareness transforms life from a battlefield into a journey of discovery. We no longer live as victims of time, but as participants in its sacred flow. To embrace divine timing is to embrace patience, humility, and faith. It is to live with the certainty that the universe is wiser than our schedules, that life's timing is kinder than our impatience, and that what is meant for us is unfolding with precision. The peace that comes from this understanding is profound. We no longer fear missing out because we know that nothing meant for us can be lost. We no longer fear being late because we know that the universe is never late. We no longer fear uncertainty because we know that timing will reveal itself when the moment is right. When you feel restless, remember the seasons. Winter may feel endless, but spring always comes. The snow melts, the flowers bloom, the fruit ripens, all in their time. You cannot rush the seasons of your life, but you can trust them. And when the time comes, you will see that everything happened exactly as it was meant to. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. If this reflection has reminded you of the wisdom of divine timing and given you peace in your own waiting, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you join a community walking together in trust, learning to embrace the rhythm of the universe and discovering that truly everything happens at the perfect moment. The hidden lessons in waiting and delay. Waiting is one of the most universal experiences of human life, and yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. For most people, waiting feels like wasted time, like being stuck in a void where nothing meaningful is happening. We live in a culture that values speed, instant gratification, and constant results. When we are asked to wait, whether for love, for success, for healing, or for clarity, we interpret the delay as a punishment, as if the universe has forgotten us, or as if we have done something wrong. But the truth is far more profound. Waiting is not an empty pause. It is a sacred interval where invisible transformations are taking place. Just because you cannot see the seed growing beneath the soil does not mean nothing is happening. The universe often places us in periods of waiting not to hold us back, but to prepare us, to refine us, and to ensure that when the moment arrives, we are truly ready to receive it. Think of the farmer who plants a seed in the ground. He does not return the next day, expecting a harvest. He knows that the earth has its rhythm, that the sun and rain must work together, and that roots must spread before the first shoots appear. The farmer does not accuse the soil of betrayal, nor does he believe the silence of the earth means failure. Instead, he trusts the invisible process. In the same way, the delays we encounter in life are not signs of absence, but of preparation. The universe works in the hidden places before it manifests in the visible world. This truth is repeated in countless traditions, that patience is not simply enduring the wait, but learning to perceive the invisible work of time. Delays often protect us from outcomes we are not yet strong enough to handle. Imagine receiving the career, the relationship, or the wealth you desire before your inner character is aligned with it. Without the strength, wisdom, and humility to carry such blessings, they would become burdens. Many people have received opportunities before they were ready and lost them quickly because their inner state was not prepared to hold the weight. This is why the universe sometimes holds us back, not to deny us, but to protect us from premature arrival. A fruit picked before ripening is bitter, but when it matures in its time, it nourishes deeply. Waiting also strips away illusions. When life slows us down, when prayers seem unanswered, and when progress feels impossible, we are confronted with our inner restlessness, our fears, and our insecurities. In those moments, we realize how much of our worth we have tied to external outcome. Waiting teaches us to separate our identity from achievements, to find peace without needing everything to happen instantly, and to rely on a deeper source of meaning. In this sense, delay is not a punishment, but a spiritual discipline. It invites us to release the ego's timeline and surrender to divine timing. The greatest transformations of the soul often occur not in moments of arrival, but in the quiet hours of waiting. Consider the stories of great sages, prophets, and seekers throughout history. Many of them experienced long seasons of waiting before their mission unfolded. Moses spent years in the desert. Buddha meditated under the Bodhi tree, and countless mystics withdrew from the world before their illumination. Their waiting was not meaningless. It was the furnace where strength, clarity, and purpose were forged. In our own lives, the waiting may not be as dramatic, but its purpose is the same. It shapes us, refines us, and teaches us to detach from urgency and to embrace trust. There is also a hidden rhythm in delay that often leads us to unexpected blessings. When we think we are late, when we miss a chance, or when a door closes, it may feel like loss. But sometimes the delay leads us to a better path we would never have discovered if our first plan had succeeded. The relationship that ended too soon may lead us to a love that truly aligns with our soul. The job that rejected us may direct us toward a calling we would never have pursued otherwise. The illness that slowed us down may force us to rethink our lifestyle and discover deeper health. In hindsight, what felt like a painful delay was a redirection toward something greater. Patience, therefore, is not simply about enduring with clenched fists, but about learning to trust the unseen. It is about realizing that the silence of waiting is not empty, but full of hidden growth. The seed beneath the soil is expanding, the roots are strengthening, and the invisible work is preparing the harvest. When we practice patience, we align ourselves with the rhythm of the universe rather than fighting against it. We stop demanding that life obey our schedule and begin to walk with humility, acknowledging that there is a greater wisdom at play. The delay also humbles us. It shows us that we are not the center of the universe, that life is not a machine responding to our commands, but a mystery that invites us to participate with reverence. Waiting reminds us that control is an illusion and that surrender is a greater form of power. To surrender in waiting is not to give up hope, but to trust that the timing of life is wiser than our urgency. It is to accept that what is meant for us cannot be stolen, and what is not meant for us will not stay, no matter how much we chase it. One of the most powerful lessons of waiting is learning presence. When we are impatient, our minds live in the future, always reaching for what has not yet arrived. Waiting teaches us to find peace in the now, to cultivate gratitude for what already exists, and to discover that joy is not postponed until the future but available in every breath. By living fully in the present, we discover that the waiting is not wasted because every moment holds meaning. Even in the silence of delay, life is still speaking, still teaching, still unfolding. At times, waiting feels like being forgotten by the universe. But in truth, it is in those silent seasons that we are being most deeply remembered. The delay is an act of care, ensuring that the blessings we desire arrive when we can carry them with strength and wisdom. The waiting season is not a desert, it is a garden where unseen roots are growing. When the time is right, the flower will bloom and the beauty will make sense. Trusting the delay is trusting the gardener, trusting that the one who planted the seed knows the perfect season for harvest. In your own journey, reflect on the delays you are experiencing now. Ask yourself, what might the universe be protecting me from? What strength is being built in me? What illusions are being stripped away? What unseen blessings might be hidden in this pause? The more we see waiting not as emptiness, but as preparation, the more peace we will carry in the delays of life. Ultimately, waiting is a teacher of trust, humility, and presence. It's an invitation to align with the wisdom of the universe and to discover that the pauses of life are not obstacles, but essential parts of the rhythm. The more we embrace waiting, the more we free ourselves from restlessness, and the more we open ourselves to the gifts that come only with time. So when life asks you to wait, remember, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not being forgotten. You are being refined. Every delay is part of a larger design, and every waiting season carries hidden lessons that will one day shine with clarity. Trust in this truth, for everything indeed happens at the perfect moment. If this reflection has touched your heart and reminded you of the power hidden within waiting, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. By joining, you will continue to receive spiritual insights that nurture patience, trust, and strength for your journey. Together we walk this path of awakening, learning to see every delay not as loss but as preparation for the greater blessings to come. The art of surrender and trusting the flow of life. Surrender is one of the most misunderstood words in the spiritual vocabulary because in ordinary life it often implies weakness, defeat, or giving up. Yet, in the language of the soul, surrender is not about resignation, but about alignment. It is the conscious act of letting go of our obsessive need to control, of ceasing to resist the natural currents of life, and of trusting that the universe knows the path better than our anxious minds ever could. True surrender is a courageous choice because it demands that we release the illusion of certainty and rest in the unknown. It asks us to trust that the flow of life is benevolent even when it carries us through rivers we do not understand. When we resist life, when we insist on controlling outcomes, and when we demand that everything happen according to our narrow expectations, we create tension, suffering, and disconnection from the deeper wisdom that guides existence. Resistance is like trying to row upstream with all our strength, exhausting ourselves while making little progress. Surrender, on the other hand, is like placing our oars down and allowing the river to carry us. This does not mean passivity or apathy. It means trust. It means that we are willing to move with life rather than against it, to participate in its unfolding rather than trying to dominate it. The human mind craves certainty. It wants plans, answers, and guarantees. It fears the unpredictable nature of reality because unpredictability threatens the ego's sense of control. But life itself is inherently unpredictable, and the universe never promised us certainty. What it offers instead is presence, guidance, and wisdom, if we are willing to listen. Surrender is the bridge between fear and trust, between clinging and flowing. It is the practice of opening our hands rather than tightening our grip, of whispering to the universe, "I do not need to know everything, for I trust the one who does." Surrender is difficult because the ego resists it. The ego tells us that control is safety, that planning is power, and that only through manipulation can we ensure happiness. Yet, the more we cling, the more fragile we become. The ego builds walls around our hearts, but surrender opens doors. In surrender, we realize that the very control we thought would protect us was actually limiting us, keeping us from discovering greater possibilities that the universe had prepared. How many times have we obsessed over a specific plan, only to later realize that what life gave us instead was better, richer, and more aligned with our true path? The gift of surrender is that it makes space for life to surprise us. There is a paradox at the heart of surrender. The moment we stop resisting, we actually find greater strength. Letting go does not weaken us. It liberates us. It frees us from the constant tension of carrying burdens that were never ours to bear. It releases us from the exhausting struggle of trying to bend reality to our will. In surrender, we discover that we are carried by a current larger than ourselves. We find peace in the storm, not because the storm has ceased, but because we have stopped fighting against the wind. We learn that the art of surrender is the art of returning to trust, of remembering that the same force that moves the stars in the sky also guides our lives with precision and love. The practice of surrender requires humility. It asks us to admit that we do not know everything, that our perspective is limited, and that our plans are not always aligned with our higher good. This humility does not diminish us, it expands us. By releasing the illusion of control, we open ourselves to divine intelligence, to synchronicities, and to unexpected blessings. Humility allows us to become students of life, willing to learn rather than demand, willing to receive rather than grasp. In daily life, surrender might mean accepting delays with grace, trusting that the timing has purpose. It might mean releasing relationships that no longer nurture our growth, even if our hearts ache. It might mean letting go of careers or identities that once defined us but no longer reflect our soul's calling. Surrender is not easy because it often requires us to walk into the unknown without guarantees. But it is precisely in the unknown that the greatest treasures of transformation are hidden. The wisdom of surrender is echoed in countless spiritual traditions. In Taoism, the concept of wu-wei teaches the power of effortless action, of aligning with the natural flow rather than resisting it. In Christianity, surrender is reflected in the prayer, "Thy will be done," an offering of trust in divine providence. In Buddhism, surrender appears in the practice of non-attachment, of releasing clinging and aversion. Across cultures, the message is clear: surrender is not defeat. It is alignment with a greater wisdom. There is a deep peace that comes when we learn to surrender. Imagine holding a rope tightly, your hands bleeding from the strain because you are afraid to let go. The moment you release it, the pain stops. You realize that the struggle was self-created, that the rope was never imprisoning you, but your grip on it was. In the same way, much of our suffering comes not from life itself, but from our resistance to it. When we surrender, we loosen the grip, and peace enters. Surrender also teaches us trust in the unfolding of our path. Many times, we only see a fragment of the journey and feel lost. We forget that from a higher perspective, the path is clear and purposeful. It is like walking through a forest. From the ground, all we see are trees and obstacles, but from above, the path is visible. Surrender allows us to trust that while we cannot see the entire map, the universe holds it. Our task is not to control every turn, but to walk with faith, step by step, knowing that the path will reveal itself as we move forward. One of the greatest obstacles to surrender is fear. Fear tells us that if we let go, everything will fall apart. It whispers that without control, we will be lost. But fear is a liar. The truth is that when we let go, we fall not into chaos, but into the arms of the universe. We discover that the ground beneath us is more solid than we imagined, that the flow of life is more supportive than we believed. Fear shrinks our world. Surrender expands it. Learning to surrender does not happen overnight. It is a lifelong practice. We surrender in small ways, releasing our impatience in traffic, accepting the weather as it is, forgiving someone instead of holding a grudge. These small acts of surrender build trust, preparing us for the larger moments when life asks us to let go of greater attachments. With each act, we discover that surrender is not loss, but gain, not emptiness, but fullness, not weakness, but strength. As you reflect on your own journey, ask yourself, where am I still resisting life? What am I clinging to that no longer serves me? What would happen if I released my need to control and trusted the flow? These questions open the door to the practice of surrender. They invite you to step into a new way of living, where peace replaces tension, trust replaces fear, and openness replaces resistance. The art of surrender is ultimately the art of living in harmony with the universe. It is the choice to align with the flow rather than fight against it, to trust the wisdom of life rather than the fears of the ego. It is a path of courage, humility, and profound peace. And when you begin to walk this path, you will discover a truth that cannot be explained but only experienced, that everything truly does happen at the perfect moment, and that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is always carrying you exactly where you need to be. If this reflection has given you strength to release your burdens and inspiration to trust the flow of life, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Together we continue this journey of awakening, supporting one another as we learn to surrender, to trust, and to live in alignment with the perfect rhythm of the universe. Preparation. Before destiny's arrival, life has a rhythm, and the universe unfolds according to laws that surpass the comprehension of our restless minds. One of the most mysterious aspects of this rhythm is that destiny does not arrive unannounced, nor does it fall into our laps without any preparation. Behind every so-called sudden opportunity, every breakthrough, and every encounter that shifts the course of our existence, there lies a period of invisible preparation, often long, often silent, and often misunderstood. We tend to believe that destiny appears out of nowhere, but in reality the universe is always preparing us in advance. The delays, the waiting, the struggles, the lessons, and even the apparent failures are not interruptions of the journey, but essential preparations for the arrival of what has been written for us. To understand this truth is to see life with a different set of eyes. Instead of asking, "Why has nothing happened yet?" we begin to ask, "How am I being prepared for what is to come?" This change in perspective transforms impatience into trust, confusion into awareness, and despair into gratitude. Preparation is not glamorous. It is not accompanied by applause, recognition, or visible results. Preparation often takes place in solitude, in quiet rooms, in moments of self-doubt, and in the practice of perseverance when no one is watching. But it is precisely in those hidden places that the soul is shaped into a vessel capable of carrying the weight of destiny. Consider a musician who steps onto a stage to perform for thousands. To the audience, the performance may seem effortless, as if talent alone were enough. But behind that moment lie countless hours of practice, mistakes, repetition, and refinement. The beauty of the performance is the fruit of preparation. In the same way, when destiny places us on the stage of life, what appears as sudden success is the harvest of seasons of silent preparation. Without that preparation, we would collapse under the weight of the opportunity. The universe is far too wise to place a crown on a head not yet strong enough to carry it. Preparation is not only about skills or external readiness, it is primarily about the inner state. A person can receive wealth without wisdom and lose it quickly. They can enter love without self-knowledge and destroy it with insecurity. They can be offered power without humility and abuse it to their own ruin. Preparation ensures that the inner world matches the outer blessing. The universe is not interested in giving us what we desire if it will harm us or others. It is interested in shaping us into beings who can hold blessings with integrity, gratitude, and responsibility. That is why we are often tested before destiny arrives. These tests may come as disappointments, delays, rejections, or challenges. At the time, we interpret them as barriers, but later we realize they were training grounds, strengthening our patience, deepening our wisdom, and expanding our capacity. Think of the butterfly in its cocoon. To the outside eye, nothing seems to be happening. But inside, the transformation is immense. The caterpillar is dissolving, reshaping, preparing for flight. If the cocoon is broken too soon, the butterfly will not have the strength to fly. The struggle inside the cocoon is the very process that strengthens its wings. In the same way, our seasons of struggle are not signs of abandonment, but of preparation. They are the cocoon where our souls are shaped for the flight of destiny. Preparation also teaches us detachment. Many times, before we receive what is meant for us, we are asked to let go of what is not. This process can be painful because the human heart clings to the familiar, even when it no longer serves us. But just as a farmer clears the field before planting new seeds, life often clears our path before new blessings arrive. Relationships end, doors close, jobs dissolve, identities we once clung to are stripped away. At the time, this feels like loss, but it is actually preparation, creating the empty space necessary for something greater to enter. Without that clearing, we would have no room to receive. Preparation is also about building character in the small moments. Life trains us through the daily choices we make when no one is watching. Integrity is built in quiet decisions. Strength is built in hidden perseverance. Gratitude is built in unnoticed blessings. By the time destiny arrives, these qualities become the foundation upon which we stand. Without them, opportunities crumble. With them, opportunities flourish. Preparation is not always visible, but it is always essential. Many of us want destiny to come quickly, but we are not always honest about whether we are ready to hold it. We ask for love, but are we prepared to love ourselves first? We ask for abundance, but are we prepared to manage it with wisdom and generosity? We ask for purpose, but are we prepared to embrace discipline, humility, and service? Destiny is not simply about receiving, it is about becoming the kind of person who can carry what is received without being destroyed by it. That is why preparation is often long and challenging, because it is shaping us into beings capable of sustaining what is to come. Preparation also refines our desires. Many times what we thought we wanted at the beginning of our journey is not what we truly need. Through experiences, mistakes, and lessons, our desires are purified. We realize that some of the things we were chasing were born of ego, fear, or comparison. The delays force us to ask, do I still want this? Is this truly aligned with my soul? By the time destiny arrives, our desires are more authentic, more aligned with our true selves, and more connected to the higher good. Without preparation, we would continue chasing illusions. With preparation, we discover truth. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of preparation is that it is guided, even when we do not realize it. The universe orchestrates events, encounters, challenges, and even failures as part of the preparation. Nothing is wasted. Every tear, every joy, every struggle, and every pause is woven into the fabric of readiness. From the limited perspective of the present moment, it may seem meaningless, but from the higher perspective, it is perfectly designed. The preparation you are going through now may feel like delay, but it is the very process aligning you with your destiny. When we embrace preparation, we find peace in the journey. We stop demanding arrival and start appreciating the process. We realize that destiny is not only about the destination, but also about the transformation we undergo along the way. In fact, the preparation is itself part of destiny. The waiting, the challenges, the lessons, all of it is woven into the story of who we are becoming. So the question is not, when will destiny arrive? The question is, how am I being prepared for destiny today? By living with this awareness, every moment becomes meaningful, every struggle becomes a lesson, and every delay becomes a hidden blessing. Preparation ceases to feel like punishment and begins to feel like partnership with the universe. We discover that we are not merely waiting for destiny, we are co-creating it through the person we are becoming each day. As you reflect on your own life, consider the ways you are being prepared. Perhaps you are learning patience through delay. Perhaps you are learning strength through struggle. Perhaps you are learning humility through failure. Perhaps you are learning gratitude through scarcity. All of these experiences are not detours. They are essential parts of your preparation. The universe is shaping you, refining you, and building you into someone capable of carrying the destiny that awaits. The beauty of preparation is that when the moment of destiny arrives, you will recognize it. The doors that open will feel natural, the opportunities will align, and the path will unfold with clarity. You will realize that the years of preparation were not wasted but essential. Without them, you would not have had the strength, wisdom, or vision to step into the fullness of your destiny. With them, you walk forward with confidence, humility, and grace. Trust, then, in your preparation. Do not despise the days of small beginnings. Do not curse the delays. Do not interpret the struggles as abandonment. They are all part of the design. Just as a tree grows roots before it grows branches, so too must your soul grow deep before it expands outward. Preparation is the unseen root system that sustains the visible tree of destiny. Embrace it, honor it, and trust it, for when destiny arrives, you will see that it was all worth it. If these words have reminded you that every step of preparation is sacred, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Together we continue to walk this path of wisdom, supporting one another as we learn to trust the process, honor the waiting, and embrace the truth that everything happens at the perfect moment. The transformative power of hindsight. There is a peculiar quality about human life that often only reveals itself once the storms have passed, once the waiting has ended, and once the dust of confusion has settled. It is the ability to look back and see the hidden order in what once appeared as chaos, the invisible wisdom behind delays, losses, and unexpected turns. This quality is called hindsight, and it is one of the most powerful tools the universe offers us for transformation. In the moment of pain, betrayal, rejection, or delay, we rarely see purpose. We only see fragments that do not make sense. But when we look back, we often realize that every twist was essential, that every detour was a disguised blessing, and that the tapestry of life was being woven with perfect precision, even when our eyes could not perceive it. Hindsight transforms confusion into clarity, despair into gratitude, and loss into wisdom. Think for a moment about times in your own life when something did not go as planned. Perhaps you were denied an opportunity you desperately wanted. Perhaps a relationship ended when you thought it was meant to last. Perhaps you were forced to change paths because of illness, financial struggle, or unexpected events. In those moments, it may have felt like everything was falling apart. Yet, looking back now, you might see that those very experiences redirected you towards something better. The rejection may have pushed you toward a career more aligned with your gifts. The breakup may have opened space for a love that truly matched your soul. The struggle may have taught you resilience and faith that no easy path could have given. This is the power of hindsight. It reveals the hidden perfection of divine timing. Hindsight teaches us that nothing is wasted. Even our mistakes, failures, and wrong turns are not outside the tapestry of destiny, they are woven into it. A wrong choice may lead us into suffering, but that suffering often becomes the soil where wisdom grows. A failure may bruise our pride, but it often humbles us in ways that prepare us for greater success. A painful ending may break our hearts, but it often breaks illusions we needed to release. When we look back, we see that even the darkest seasons carried hidden light, that even the heaviest burdens carried hidden lessons. Hindsight transforms regret into gratitude because it shows us that even what hurt us was part of the journey that shaped us into who we are today. The transformative power of hindsight also lies in its ability to shift our perspective about the present. When we recognize that the struggles of the past eventually made sense, we begin to trust that the struggles of the present will one day make sense too. This is how hindsight builds faith. If yesterday's confusion eventually revealed its purpose, then today's confusion will do the same in time. When we remember how many times life has led us exactly where we needed to be, even through disappointment, we strengthen our trust in the unfolding of the future. Hindsight whispers to us, "You did not see it then, but it was all for your good. Trust, for one day you will see again." Hindsight also humbles us because it reveals how limited our vision truly is. We realize that what we thought was best for us was not always what we needed. We realize that our prayers were sometimes answered not with yes, but with something better. We realize that the universe was protecting us from outcomes we could not have handled, redirecting us from paths that would have harmed us, and guiding us toward growth we would have avoided if left to our own plans. In hindsight, we see that control was never the true source of safety, but trust was. Another profound gift of hindsight is compassion. When we look back on our struggles and see how lost we once were, we develop tenderness for ourselves and for others. We stop judging people so harshly because we recognize that everyone is in the middle of a story that has not yet revealed its meaning. Just as our past pain eventually became a source of strength, so too will theirs. Hindsight teaches us patience not only with life, but with the people around us. It shows us that we are all being shaped by the timing of the universe and that no one's journey can be rushed. Hindsight also deepens gratitude. When we look back and see how many times life carried us through storms, we feel awe at the invisible care of the universe. We recognize that we were never truly abandoned, even in moments of despair. Something larger was always guiding us, always weaving meaning from pain, always leading us toward growth. Gratitude born from hindsight is deeper than ordinary gratitude because it is forged in the fire of struggle. It is not shallow appreciation for easy blessings, but profound reverence for the way even difficulties became gifts. The transformative power of hindsight is also about forgiveness. Many of us carry bitterness for past experiences or for people who hurt us. But when we look back and see how those very experiences shaped us, we often find the ability to forgive. We realize that what others meant for harm, the universe used for growth. We realize that their role in our story, even if painful, was part of our preparation. Forgiveness becomes easier when we recognize that nothing was wasted, that even betrayal had a purpose in leading us to strength, self-knowledge, or freedom. Hindsight turns resentment into wisdom. Importantly, hindsight is not only about the past, it is also a teacher for how to live in the present. When we embrace the lessons of hindsight, we learn to live with more trust, more patience, and more surrender. We begin to say, if I cannot see the meaning now, I will not despair, because I know from experience that one day I will understand. This mindset changes everything. It allows us to face difficulties with calm, to wait with peace, and to embrace uncertainty without fear. Hindsight becomes the seed of foresight, teaching us how to trust the unseen work of the present moment. It is also worth noting that hindsight is a teacher of humility toward time itself. Many times we demand answers immediately. We want clarity now. But hindsight shows us that answers come later, after the experience has unfolded, after the lessons have matured. Life is not a puzzle to be solved instantly. It is a story to be lived, and the meaning often reveals itself only in later chapters. To accept this is to live with patience, to honor the mystery, and to embrace the journey without needing all the answers today. Reflecting on hindsight also reveals how interconnected everything is. What felt like an isolated event often connects to countless others in ways we could not have predicted. A chance meeting years ago may lead to an opportunity today. A decision that seemed small may ripple into major consequences. A heartbreak long past may prepare us for love now. Hindsight reveals the web of connections, showing us that life is not random, but deeply interwoven. It teaches us to respect the mystery of how events link together, creating a tapestry too vast for us to fully comprehend. In your own life, think about the moments you once cursed that later turned into blessings. Think about the prayers that went unanswered, only to realize later that the answer you received was greater. Think about the detours that led you to destinations you never expected. Let those memories be your teachers. Let them remind you that today's struggles are tomorrow's wisdom, that today's tears are tomorrow's gratitude, and that today's confusion is tomorrow's clarity. Hindsight is the gentle voice of the universe, reminding us that everything truly happens at the perfect moment. When we embrace hindsight, we stop living as victims of life and begin living as students of it. We realize that nothing is wasted, that everything contributes to our growth, and that even pain has meaning. We become more resilient, more trusting, and more at peace with the flow of existence. We no longer fear the unknown as much, because we know that one day when we look back, the pieces will fit together. This awareness transforms the way we live, giving us strength to walk forward even when the road is unclear. So let hindsight be your teacher. Reflect often on your journey. Remember the times you thought you were lost, but later discovered you were being guided. Remember the times you thought life was against you, but later realized it was for you. Let those memories give you faith for today and courage for tomorrow. The transformative power of hindsight lies in its ability to show us that life is wiser than we are, that the universe is always working with purpose, and that even when we do not understand, everything is unfolding in perfect timing. If this reflection has reminded you of the wisdom hidden in your past and inspired you to trust more deeply in the present, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Here you will find continuous guidance and spiritual insights to strengthen your journey, reminding you that everything truly happens at the perfect moment and that you are always being led by a universe full of wisdom and love.